I think that that's the biggest thing for any practice, any business is communication and just trying to be responsive, being communicative. Because when clients are not hearing from their lawyer, that's where their mind just goes to a bit of a crazy place. They end up down a rabbit hole where we don't want them to be.
Welcome to our Happy Rainmakers video series where point one can make a difference. I'm very lucky to be joined by Jeralyn Lawrence today, who's a founder of Lawrence Law. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you have a way of helping people decide? I've set a boundary. I coach Little League on Thursday afternoons. I get back on my laptop after. Don't expect to see me between 4 and 6 on Thursdays. Oh, but there's an important something. When do I break that boundary and go to the meeting or take the phone call? And when do I say, no, I'm sorry, I've been very clear about this. I'm not available between 4 and 6.
So it's not a great answer, but I think it depends. And I think, you have to be true to yourself and be clear in what your decision is. If it's something pertaining to your children and it's, something that is recurring and perhaps you missing it, it's not going to be life changing, but it is extremely important for work. As you're balancing those scales, that may be that, yeah, hey, I have to get there for my professional life. If it's your child's concert or graduation or something with taking care of your parents and it's just a deal breaker, then it's just a deal breaker. So it's going to depend on what that situation is. But in my mind, kids always came first. I know nobody likes that answer. It depends. But really, you go to bed by yourself every night and you wake up in the morning to yourself. So you have to be at peace with yourself and the decisions that you made. And once you make the decision, be confident that that's the right decision and that's the decision that you roll with. And oftentimes we find ourselves that we say, no, we're not available. And then we go on to explain why we're not available. Stop doing that. You don't owe anybody that explanation as to why or where you're going to be or what you're doing. You could just say, thank you. Thank you so much for thinking of me. Thank you for including me. Thank you for the invitation. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work this time, but please think of me next time.
That sounds like a really good answer. So you're at a point in your career where you're running your own firm and you have a lot of clients and you probably have a lot more leeway to set boundaries and stick to them. But for anybody who's watching this video who is a little more junior or is in more of a service position and not a rainmaker, do you have any advice for how they might still stick to some boundaries?
Growing in your career, it's hard to say no. If someone's coming to you to give you work, I grew up in a large firm. And so my advice was different in the work context as far as taking on assignments. I think in that situation, you have to say yes, but you also have to be clear in what that yes means. If somebody's asking you to do a project and says, I need to do it, you need to do it by tomorrow, I think you need to be clear that yes, you're saying yes, you can do it, but by tomorrow may not work. So just be clear and honest and transparent. You want people to know that you're a hard worker, that you are going to be there. You're going to embrace every assignment given to you and do your best. But if 10 partners are coming to you and those 10 partners aren't communicating with each other, it's physically impossible to get 10 assignments done by the next day. And so, but you don't say, no, I can't do that. What you say is, sure, I can do this, but I also have these 9 other things from these 9 other partners. So let's talk about where in the line of priorities you'd like me to put this. And just be open and honest and transparent. So I think that's important. And I think that, when I was on the management committee of my prior firm, and I respected that. I didn't want people to tell me, no, I can't do this. No, that's not a great way to rise up the ranks of any law firm or probably any business, to continually say no. So I think, but you can just change that to a yes, but let's talk about when you want that deliverable and what's realistic. And I think people are doing that more now than ever, going home, tending to their children, their parents, whatever their responsibilities are, and then signing on. That's the beauty of life right now is you can do remote work. You can hop on Zooms. You can respond to email. sometimes email is the bane of our existence and they are unrelenting, but they have allowed us a lot of flexibility to work outside of the four walls of your physical office space. So embrace that and do it.
Do you have a boundary as to when you respond to emails or send emails, like a certain hour of the evening, or is it on a case by case basis?
No one calls anymore when we don't get much mail. So it's almost 99% of the communications are now by email. So that's a lot. So we like to get a response back within 24 hours. If they're asking, a very substantial question that needs a significant response, the response by us may be, I have your email. Let me think about it and I'll get back to you. But at least it's a response. I think that that's the biggest thing for any practice, any business is communication and just trying to be responsive, being communicative. Because when clients are not hearing from their lawyer, that's where their mind just goes to a bit of a crazy place. They end up down a rabbit hole where we don't want them to be. So if we just say, I have your email, we'll get back to you. So the policy is usually 24 hours.
Thank you very much for such good advice. I'm sure a lot of people viewing this are going to have big changes to make.
I hope
Thanks for
so.
being with us.
Thank you so much.